Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox. Welcome to the Converge20 podcast series, where we feature speakers and events from the upcoming Converge20. Converge is in its fifth year of bringing together the world's leading companies for 2 days of dynamic speakers, thought-provoking breakout sessions, and opportunity to connect with the top like-minded compliance professionals literally across the globe. This year, the conference has gone virtual, but you will still leave the conference with new resources and best practices, allowing you to continue the hard work of driving ethics to the center of business. I link to the convergent registration and the show notes, so go ahead and register as it's at no charge. In this episode, I visit with Mary Shirley on her presentation of maximizing your ethical career potential while avoiding burnout. Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox, back for another episode of Converge20. Today, I'm extraordinarily pleased to have with me my good friend and colleague, Mary Shirley. Mary is one of the co-founders of the Great Women in Compliance podcast. Mary, first of all, welcome, and could you tell us a little bit about what the Great Women in Compliance is?
Thank you so much, Tom. Really pleased to be here. So the Great Women in Compliance podcast started out as an opportunity to let more voices of women in the compliance and risk fields be heard. Before we started the podcast, there were a great deal of men who were providing excellent thought leadership and knowledge sharing utilizing podcasts. And Great Women in Compliance was our way of providing a platform for women in the field. And it allows us to highlight their accomplishments and to amplify the voices of other women.
Mary, the Great Women in Compliance started as a podcast, but it's grown into something very different. Could you just highlight some of the growth that you have seen?
Absolutely. I wouldn't say that it's a movement, but potentially it is something that could be described as a following. And what I mean by that is a symbiotic relationship and understanding between women in the field that we are here to support each other, that when we amplify each other's voices, when we showcase the accomplishments of others, we are stronger and we get that much closer to breaking through the glass ceiling. And so we've established, I think, a community. In a formal sense, there is a LinkedIn group where we share stories that may be of interest as well as podcast episodes. But I would say more broadly than that, it has become a virtual place of friendship, of sharing challenges, and of celebrating the diversity and excellence of women in the field.
Mary, I really wanted to use that answer to maybe move into the next topic, which is your presentation at Converge20, and really to maybe give a few words on the presentation as a teaser, but also how your personal experience has informed what you're going to share with the audience.
Of course. So I'm delighted to be collaborating with my Great Women in Compliance podcast co-host, Lisa Fine, and admired colleague, Lisa Beth Lentini Walker. We will be talking about bypassing burnout. And as a type A person who is pretty much always glued to my phone, actually, that's probably more due to being a millennial or just a person who's alive right now, and my work emails, this one has really special significance to me. As a spoiler alert, I'll share in this podcast that loving your job or being passionate about compliance does not make you immune to burnout. And so we'll be sharing other pieces of information like that have come to light in scientific studies, and also follow up with practical tips and advice that colleagues who are like me can implement in their daily lives and work life to lessen the burden of burnout.
Mary, if I could ask, what do you hope to get out of Converge20?
I'm always interested in ideation and compliance. I love hearing about innovation and case studies that sound like they'll achieve the ethical goals of what I'm after in-house. Those types of things get me really excited. I also want to provide support to friends who are speaking. I'm always on the lookout for like-minded people who are participating in the conference. Speakers, of course, are an obvious one because they're showing their views and thought leadership, and I can connect with them if I think that there would be a good symbiotic relationship between us. And I understand that Conversant is really working on some networking functionality virtually as well, which should provide an opportunity to connect with other attendees of the conference. So again, looking out for people who are sharing interesting thoughts and perspectives and would be interesting to know going forward. And of course, this is really fertile ground for being on the lookout for interesting speakers who may have a great perspective for Lisa and I to showcase moving forward on the Great Women in Compliance podcast.
Well, Mary, not only am I looking forward to your presentation, but I'm more looking forward to engaging with you at Converge20. Thanks so much for taking the time to visit with me.
Can't wait to see you, Tom. See you there.
Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox again. I hope you enjoyed this podcast about one of our Converge20 speakers or Converge20 events. I hope you will join me at this event. You can't beat the price. It's free. I've linked to, in the show notes, registration and information. This is going to be literally the best virtual compliance conference of the year. Can't beat the price. You'll be with the top compliance professionals around, and it will be an experience second to none. I hope you will plan to join me, and I look forward to visiting with you virtually at Converge20.